How can managers create a safe space for their team so that people can feel more comfortable to speak up if they are facing a tough time?
I love this question so much. Psychological safety is the number one thing that will impact any team. It doesn't matter how long a team's been together, how smart they are, what caliber of people they are. It's the safety that's provided in that group, the ability to speak up. So I love this question on what can you do as a leader to set up that space? You need to call out when others are not making that space safe. So when people are judgmental or come in and harm that safety, you need to protect it. But what can you do to also set it up and let people know it's okay? So part of it is how you show up. Are you approachable? Are you listening, or are you the fixer and you're always going in there to solve or judge or advise? The other thing that really makes a big difference is being authentic and real yourself and showing your vulnerability. So, I talk to my team and I acknowledge when I fuck up. I'm just like, that didn't go well. And, I'm really sorry about it. And I'm okay to hold space for that conversation about what I can do differently to show that we're all working things out together. And this is a space where we can discuss and learn and fail forward on things as well. So it means you also don't gloss over things and just be like, yeah, corporate speak, moving on anyways, and we'll work it out when we come to it. But be real with people, and because if you're not real with them, you can't expect them to reel back to you. The other thing as well is that when your team maybe needs more space, you need to be an adaptive leader and maybe create more of those touch points. And think about today, whether should that be Slack, should that be a call, should that be in real life, should be in a formal office setting, or should it be outside of the office? And think about the type of conversation or space you need to create, and making a choice on when and how you do that. I found that the most important meetings are when I'm leaving the office and someone's like, have you just got a minute? And that's going to be a really important conversation of someone outside of the formality, a bit more intimate, and how do I create that safe space for them to really share? And I'm really paying attention to that as leader, going, this is important for this person. I'm not thinking about how I'm going to miss my train. I'm like, this person waited the whole day to reach out to me for something kind of out of schedule because there's something that's important for them. I think the other thing as well, you need to create safety for people to talk about things that maybe aren't wins or mistakes. You also need to praise effort as well as the outcome. So success, particularly right now, is really contextual. And sometimes just surviving a circumstance deserves a massive call out and wins, not just when everything, is going your way. And of course, you cross the finish line ahead of time and in budget or whatever. So think of those different elements of how you can adapt, what touch point you can use. And also sometimes if you really feel like you're just not getting that level of feedback, think about whether anonymous channels are worthwhile. We have at work, it's set up like an anonymous survey for team members to say how they're doing and provide feedback. And I always hope that that's just a reflection of what I already knew from my contact directly with them. But sometimes I am caught off guard with a surprise, or someone, added something in that anonymous channel as well. And I think that's also a good backstop in case we miss it.
Yeah, that's some really great advice, Tara. Thanks. Sharon, did you have anything you wanted to add with regards to psychological safety within the workplace? Or?
I think Tara just responded so well with that, and I love what you said about how you kind of stayed with the person, like especially the person that asked you, if they ask you something like as you're leaving. I think that can be quite difficult if you're like rushed and you've got your own stuff going on, but recognizing that this person's asking you at this time because that's what felt safe for them. I think that's wonderful that you're able to do that. And I think it is about thinking beyond yourself and really trying to understand your team, each member of your team, and what they're needing, and that everybody needs different things. So I like what you said about trying to understand what sort of environment would be suited. I know it must be very difficult if you've got quite a big team, of knowing each person individually what's best for them, but and maybe asking them, what would you prefer when you're talking about something more vulnerable. But I think exactly what you said as well, it's about not having like a poster on the, in the kitchen wall saying, you can talk to us, or like, how are you okay? Whatever it is, it's like showing, through action that you can be vulnerable as well, because that's the only way. When we show vulnerability, that's when somebody else will feel a little bit safer to show vulnerability themselves. So I love that you said all those things. I think what an amazing leader. And I guess what I'd add, I'm not sure if this is something you've read or have heard of, but and I'm not in an environment, personally. I work for myself. It's really just me. But there's a book called Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. It's quite an accessible read, very quick read as well. And I think she talks a lot about vulnerability in a leadership setting. So that might be a resource to look into.